Let's see what we can do about simplifying this expression. This name's some number. It's just a little bit hidden. Let's see what we can do. Now, one thing I noticed right away is this. I've got powers. And I've got odd powers and even powers. Now, if I take a negative number, raise it to an odd power, I will always get a negative number. All right, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you take a negative number to an odd power, that's always going to be negative, because you'll have an odd number of negatives. So this one right here, I know is going to be negative something. Now this one, this is a negative number to an even power. And I know this, that if I take a negative number and raise it to an even power, I'm going to get a positive back. So I know that this result right here will be a positive something. So let's compute these. I'm going to get negative 3. Now we know we do the exponents first, right? Do powers first. I'm going to do this one, then I'm going to do this one. Then I'll come back to the multiplications, then the additions. So what is negative 1 cubed? Well, negative 1 cubed, maybe you can see it, it's just negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. That negative 1 appears 3 times in that multiplication. 3 negatives is a negative. 1 times 1 is 1. Right, so this is going to be a negative 1. Now, what do we have right here? What is this one? Well, it's negative 1 squared. So what I'm thinking is this. I've got negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1. Negative negative is positive. 1 times 1 is 1. So I'm going to get a 1 out of this. So I'm going to get plus 3. Right, there's that 3, there's that 3, and then times 1. Now, this last one over here, well, we can just do this one, right? This is 1 times negative 1, which is negative 1, right? So we'll get a negative 1 out of this one. So minus 1, right from there. That's this one right here. And then we have that last plus 1. Now let's go left to right doing the multiplications. Negative 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. What do we get here then? Positive 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. And then we have the minus 1 and the plus 1. I just did those multiplications first. Now, go left to right with the addition subtraction. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Minus 1 plus 1. Now, 0, you can do that in your head. 0 minus 1 is negative 1 plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1, that's 0. So this whole expression up here at the top, that's just another way of saying 0. That's all just equal to 0. Got a division here. Let's work on the top and the bottom separately. Now, not much to do here. On the top, 4 plus 3 is a 7. On the bottom, be careful, negative 1 minus 5. So think of it this way. You're down 1, then you lose 5 more, so now you're down 6. All right, now that's okay. You can write it like this. It doesn't reduce. That's okay, but it's better to have that negative sign up on top or out in front. All right, so you can write a fraction like this. You can write negative a over b with negative signs. You can write that negative sign on the bottom, or you can write it out in front. Now, the textbook seems to like it out in front. This is probably the worst, all right? I wouldn't do that one. I like to write them like this. This one is how I'm going to say it. I'm going to write negative 7 over 6. But this one here is perfectly okay. That one's okay too. We got a multiplication here in number 18 and an addition. So let's use the distributive property to eliminate these parentheses. I'm just going to multiply in. Now I'm going to write it here. You may be able just to do it in your head, but I'm going to write it. I'm thinking it's 10 times y over 5 plus, right? I'm writing plus because it's positive 10 times positive 3, 10.3, 10 times 3. Now in this first case here, in this one here, you can see that 10 is a fraction if you want to. If you want to write that out, I'm thinking 10 over 1 times y over 5 plus, now I'm going to get a 30 over here. But I could write it like this now. 5 goes into 10 twice. So I'm going to get 2 times y, or just 2y. So I'm going to get 2y plus 30. All right, let's just do this one here. Here's what I'm going to see in my head as I do this. All right, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 24 times y over 12 plus 24 times y over 4 when I distribute. Right, the 24 goes here, and then it comes over here. Minus 24 dot y over 8. Now, what else do I see? Well, I see this, that 12 goes into 24 twice. So right up front, I could write 2y. Now, if you can see that, that's fine, or you're welcome to write it out. That's good too. But I'm seeing it this way. 24 over 12 is 2y. Now, what do you see over here? I'm seeing this one here. 24 over 4. Well, that's a 6. So I can write plus 6y. And then what do you see in the last one? A negative. So negative over positive is going to be negative. 24 over 8. 8 into 24 is 3. So I will get minus 3y. Now just add these together. They're all y's. You've got 2 of them. You add 6 more. Now you have 8. And then you lose 3. So now you're down to 5. So this whole thing is equal to 5y. Now, I don't want to write an equal sign. I mean, I could, but I don't want to do this because I did not start with an equal sign in the problem. I don't want an equal sign in any part of my work. So I'm going to leave that out. Number 20. We've got a set of parentheses, 2 sets of parentheses. Let's eliminate those using the distributive property. So first thing I'm going to do is just rewrite that 3. And now what do you get here? Take that negative 3 through. Negative 3 times 5y is negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15, but you got the y's. And then here, you've got negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6, so minus 6. Now what about this last term? This is a set of parentheses preceded immediately by a minus sign. So the shortcut rule is this. Drop the parentheses, but change the sign of all the terms inside. So I got a set of parentheses preceded immediately by a minus sign. Drop the parentheses, but change all the signs inside. So this positive 2y is going to become minus 2y, and this negative 2 is going to become positive 2. Now let's combine the terms. I'll do the variables first. So I've got negative 15y minus 2y. Well, think of it this way. You're down 15, and then you lose 2 more. So now you're down 17, so negative 17y. And just the numerals, I've got 3 minus 6 is negative 3, and then negative 3 plus 2, right? 3 minus 6 takes me to negative 3, so I'm down 3, but I get 2 back, so now I'm down only 1. So I get negative 17y minus 1.